Welcome to another episode of Just Ask Cher Live. Well, actually, it's another episode, yes, but this is my do-over episode because you might be wondering, it's the middle of the day if you're watching live, and what am I doing broadcasting in the middle of the day? Well, first, what I'm doing right now is getting my timer. Let's see if I can honor this 36 minutes. I really want to. But the reason why I am broadcasting right now is on Tuesday night, I had an awesome show. I thought my content was fire. But Restream, the service that I use, they loved it too, I'm sure. I'm sure if they were watching, but it split my episode in half. There were times when it was just going all over the place. It was dark and all these kind of technical glitches. And I'm like, oh no, I have been promising an episode on niching for weeks, maybe even months. And I finally did it. And for this episode to be chopped in half and really messed up, I was like, nah. Nope. I've been promising it way too long. So here I am. We're going to be talking all about niching down. And so many people have had this huge problem when it comes to niching their brand. And that could be whether you are a professional, entrepreneur. We at some point may have to decide that we want to be known for something specific because it makes you that much easier to refer when you attach an expertise to who you are and you are able to really own that piece of you. But sometimes, a lot of times, people struggle with this advice. In fact, I struggled with this advice for a long time. When you start out as an entrepreneur, everybody says, you got a niche, you got a niche, you got a niche. And I couldn't do it, no matter how much I tried. And there is wisdom in niching because when you talk about what you do, you get associated to what you do and people will know you for that. But sometimes if you don't know yourself for that yet, it's hard to do. So while I'm checking, you know what I want to know? Who is Team Live? Who is Team Replay on the do-over episode? And I see a few people who watch Tuesday night, and it's okay. So you already know the goods when it comes to niching down on your brand. So you can go along about your day, or you can watch it to reabsorb this information. Because again, I'm broadcasting because I thought it was such a good topic. And the feedback that I got for those who stuck around for part A, part B, and now the do-over, they were all saying that this is an awesome topic. And the information was fire. And I must admit, I think so too, because it's not your typical common information when it comes to niching your brand. So I'm checking in. In the meantime, you guys are letting me know. Team Live, Team Replay, want to know. Doesn't matter when you watch, as long as you're on my team. And I am now checking in. I'm definitely broadcasting, which is awesome. And let's see. I want to see all y'all. Yes, I love it. When it says I'm broadcasting, that is awesome. So let me just jump into the comments right now. And I see Chad, and he was Ride or Die for me on Tuesday and to Denisha's Team Live. Benita is Team Live, and she says, I found my niche, 7 years and going strong. That is awesome. And then the question I have for you, Benita, and I'll ask you that later on as well, is did you struggle before you found it? Did you struggle? Because most people do. Or did you know it right away? It's like those people who know right from the jump what they want to do in their life and they end up actually doing it. I think those are awesome people, but a lot of people struggle with this. And David Pollock says, I've found my niche. Cynthia Jackson says, first time liver, love it. And this is why, you get to switch it up a bit. And Patrick says, first time Team Live. I know, because half of y'all are on the other side of the world and I broadcast 8 p.m. Tuesdays, Eastern Standard Time. So that does present challenges. Either way, if we have never met, because this is the first time you're seeing this broadcast, my name is Cher Jones, and I'm a corporate social media trainer that specializes in the personal brand for business. I help corporate professionals as well as entrepreneurs serving corporate develop powerful personal brands, especially especially on LinkedIn, and I teach them how to use social media at work for work, especially now in this digital environment. How we show up, our digital presence matters. So every week on Just Ask Share Live, I'm always giving you guys the goods as what you can do with your online presence, what you can do with your brand so that you can rock online. So in addition to all of that, today we are talking about, if you're just tuning in right now, niche yourself or not, because I have some advice, actually 6 tips that I wanted, 6 tips that I wanted to share with you guys, that a lot of them you might not have heard before unless you watched the original broadcast on Tuesday night. And of course, I have an incredible scroll stopper that I think is incredibly easy. Clearly, I like the word incredible today. It's usually awesome, but we'll go with incredible. It's so easy to do, and it provides a lot of value to the people that you are connected to. And of course, in Tap That App, 2-piece, I'm going to show you an awesome podcasting service that I'm really liking. I've been using it with a few of my clients, and a couple other people I know like it, so I want to share that with you. So make sure you guys stay tuned. But right now, I got my question of the day for you. And this question is, have you had trouble? Even those of you who know your niche right now, did you always know your niche? Did you have a little bit trouble choosing your niche? Because it ain't easy. It's once you get there, it's awesome. But let me tell you, back in 2013, when I first jumped out onto the scene after leaving my full-time job, I struggled with my niche. I knew what I wanted to do, and I definitely iterated to innovate, but at the same time, it's only been in the last 2.5 years where I am really owning it. I've always stayed in the personal branding space, but when it came down to doubling down on a niche, I struggled. So I'm going to share what I know and what you can do as you either are already niched or in the process of niching yourself. All right, so I'm going to jump into the comments right now to see if there are anybody, there's anyone here who wants to share if they had trouble picking their niche. Okay, so let's see. Denisha's team live. I found my niche. Okay, we'll see if my comments come up. They're not coming up on my phone, but I have my comments showing on a chat window. So, cooking without kidneys, building my nonprofit. So David, clearly you have your niche. Jane is here. I am team live. Fantastic to see you as well. And Christina says self-discovery is a journey, and I agree. And Dario says, hey, what's up? Hi. And let me see what else. Went through dialysis that helped to create my niche. So that also happens to many people, where it's like you really have to live through the process. And as you live through things, as you try things, you get clear on what it is you want to do. Okay. And Frank says, hi, everyone. And Susanna says, it's not easy. Let me tell you, I agree with you, sis. It is not easy at all, but it feels good once you get there. But for those of you who are struggling, and even for those of you who have already chosen your niche, my 6 tips are going to help you niche even further. So let's dive right into those tips right now. All right, niche yourself or not. Tip number 1. And literally, when you think about this, David, this is you exactly. What gives you life? And for you, that's literal. But for many people, is you have to take a look at what is supercharging you. What do you feel amazing about when you do it? What clients light your fire? I'd even ask you, who is your favorite client? Now, take apart that experience. What did you love about that experience? What did you do for that client? Or if we're not on the entrepreneurial side and we're thinking from a position side, what has been your favorite position? What did you love about it? What could you do all day, every day, and still do more of it? That will help you determine the direction of your niche. Maybe there's things that you really like working on. Maybe there's systems that you know better than anybody else, or perhaps industries that you know what? When it comes to these certain industries, no one can test your knowledge, or you can go toe to toe with the best. And these are ways that you can start to figure things out, because you have to follow your passion. But I'm not saying that blindly, because you'll get a lot of advice out there. Follow your passion, follow your passion. Yeah, if it's going to pay you, which brings me to my next point, which is there a market for your niche? Because you may love it, but there might not be job opportunities. There might not be opportunities to lead in this space. The world might not be ready for it yet. Or there might not be no buyers. If there's no buyers, there ain't no niche. You can niche all you want, but it's just a passion. So when we're thinking about our personal brands and what we want to associate it to, you want to take a look at the market itself and what will the market bear? What is the market looking for? Where are there empty spots that need filling based off of your knowledge? And we see all the time, as transition happens, new niches are born and some niches die. So you need to constantly be reevaluating even what it is you are niching, because sometimes it's a good thing until it's not. So that's what you have to pay attention for. What is the market saying about what you're excited about, what you're passionate about, and maybe even pivoting slightly. So doing that research to ensure that you're going in the direction that makes the investment, because it is an investment to invest your brand, how people see you, into that connection of your brands, because you're taking that time so that people know you for that. You just want to make sure that you're known for the right thing. So these are decisions that you're going to have to make. So whatever gives you life, whatever you're excited about doing and there's a market for, you are definitely on the right path to truly owning your niche right now, or niche, depending on tomato, niche or niche, GIF or GIF. Whatever works for you works for me. Okay, so I'm going to jump right into the comments right now, see what you guys have to say. And let me try doing it on the chat window because it's not being as nice on my phone. So let me just get there again. And so Frank says Black women are a good prospective client base since they're starting so many small businesses. That is absolutely true. The stats are in there as far as who you want to serve. And if you can get into, if you're saying, okay, Black women are my niche, I want to work with Black women, and I have done the research, because Frank, you're not a woman. So you're doing the research to understand their pain points. And there's a lot of data out there as far as, we have issues with funding. There are a ton, like you said, the research also shows that there's a ton of Black women that are starting businesses. So it's really understanding that market. And I bet you, because I know you've done your research, and that allows you to better serve them. And also you bring another perspective, because male energy and female energy is often quite different when we're in business. And sometimes we need a bit of both, not sometimes, all the time. And that gives you a nice balance and a nice competitive edge as well. Susanna says, first niche I picked had no money, not a very promising future. I hear you. First niche I picked, I hate it. So when I left my job, I had 2 contracts that paid really well. So I didn't leave with 6 months money in the bank, but I had 6 months worth of contracts. And I was like, okay, this is awesome. I love this. I am on my own. This is going to be amazing. And then I started to do the work and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't stand this. It's going to drive me crazy. So one of the things that I noticed as well that's really important, hey, Randy, nice to see you live as well, is the fact that you got to start saying yes to more things. And I'm going to get into that a little bit further. But the next thing, especially when you are afraid to really own that niche, but you're starting to get there, this is why LinkedIn is so beautiful, because you can focus primarily on what you want to be known for, and then leverage this really cool phrase in your about section, I also. So that's where you can say, first you talk about the niche, the main thing that you want to focus on or be known for. And then that little commitment issue side of you that's still struggling with the whole niche thing, you can also build in. And I also work in these industries. I also do this. And you can start to explain as well what you also do. So this way you elevate the niche. That's the first thing people know about you. But then you have a bit of a security blanket by telling people the rest. And sometimes when you get that much further in your niche, you will, believe it or not, once you have developed that opportunity at the workplace, people know you for certain things and you are happy and content doing that work. Again, same thing on the entrepreneurial side. You are known in a specific industry, doing a specific type of work. When people know you for that and you're good with it, you remove that also because you don't want that kind of work to come to you. And that's the real comfort level that happens when you get to sit back in your niche and enjoy it. So that's something that I want you guys to consider, especially if you're a little bit commitment phobic about really owning that niche. Leveraging the I also can really help you do that. So that's where you can take the time in your about section to truly describe what it is you do and how you serve. Okay, so hope you guys are feeling that advice right now. Let me know in the comments, of course, and I'll jump in just a second. But my next piece of advice is great when you really want to put your toe in the niching water. So what you can do, especially if you don't want to commit to content just yet, that is very niche specific, what you can do is start to guest on other people's platforms. So if they have a blog, if they have a podcast, they have a live show that is to your new target audience or to your niche target audience, instead of creating content on your end, you go jump into where they're creating content. Your goal there is to make sure that you are asking that content creator, or more so pitching to that content creator, how you can deliver value through this content exchange with the very specific niche that you're trying to both teach about, engage with. So this way you get very specific to that target audience. But what this does is this allows you to not only go onto other people's networks and get known in the industry from other people's buy-in, so to speak, because you're doing these collaborations. What you can do is remix that content. So if you did a guest appearance on somebody else's show, what you can do is take that clip or take a clip of the show. I talked all about remixing 2 weeks ago. So check my YouTube channel. If you're not on my YouTube channel, that's where all of this stuff is. All of my lives are easily able to be found, because on LinkedIn, I know sometimes it's hard to go back and find an episode. So just search Just Ask Cher Live or just search Cher Jones. You will come onto my channel. Make sure you subscribe. But this is something that, as far as back to my guest niching strategy, the guest on niche shows strategy is taking clips and then sharing that with your episode, sharing that episode with your network. And this really does allow you to start being known without committing to creating a platform where it comes to that entire episodes, as far as like owning your own blog about a specific niche or owning a live show or a podcast. You can go on other people's and start to spread your wings that way. So I hope you like that one. I know when I originally did this episode on Tuesday night, people were like, yes, this is like magic in a bottle right there, because they were just not sure how they can get their expertise out in a way that they're still on the commitment fence about. So Randy's loving this. Eric says fire. Let's see. Yeah, and great advice. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that. All right. So, Suzanne, I love what Susanna said about niching. It's like picking a favorite. Okay, here is like unlike picking that favorite child, and that's funny because it is hard. And let's see here. Jane says, I had trouble at first, but decided to specialize in the area of cybersecurity and accounting and finance staffing. All right, I love it. So again, picking your niche, it takes time, and niche bundling. And that is another way that you can also do that. So I appreciate that. So let me jump back into my tip for tip number 5 and ease into it with your own content. And so that could be content that you create or content that you share. So one of the easiest ways to visualize this is out of your next 10 posts. If you want to start to ease into that niche, out of 10 posts, 2 could be about very specific angles to that niche. And then your next 10 posts following that, 4 of them could be about this niche, and you just kind of grow it gradually. You space it out, of course. It's not 4 back to back, but you space it out over those 10 posts. But what you're doing is you're introducing your niche to your audience, as opposed to going grand opening, grand closing, grand opening again. You want to make sure that as you're introducing this niche, that your existing audience is starting to say, oh, this person's starting to get interested in that. And they start to see more content. And then as the evolution and your adoption as of a niche grows, so does the amount of content. And again, if you're following tip number 4, you can start to sprinkle in those remixed options where you take that piece of that show that you were on and share it, or blog or whatever, and share it in with your content mix. And again, it will accelerate the adoption of this niche as you get more comfortable with it. Okay, number 6. If you are still struggle city on a niche, it's okay. Because here's what I'm going to say to you. You need more experience. You're just not ready yet. You are not ready for prime time niche time. And that's okay. Because you have to, niching comes so organically when you just start to say no to things. Because the reason why you can say no is because you actually did it. And you gave yourself the opportunity to say, oh my gosh, I thought I loved this, like I was telling you my story in the beginning, and I absolutely hate it. So what you can do is continue to say yes, so that out of the process of elimination, your niche will be born. So if you are struggling, I don't know if I should go over there. I don't know if I should go over there. Well, try it and then decide. You don't have to adopt it as a niche. Most people, especially young professionals who are really struggling in the space, the reason why they're like, I don't know, is because we say no to what we don't know. If you don't know, you don't know. And that's why you're saying no to a niche. But the more experience you get, the more you're able to own what it is you do, and the more you're able to, and this is probably the fringe benefit of this, is the more you're able to work alongside what is perceivably your competition, and you know that they're not. Do you know any people that are personal branding experts that I'm actually friends with and that I even refer business to, because some things that come my way, that's not in my zone. And I slay in my lane, and I want you guys to do that too. So I know what's my business and I know it's not. For example, a lot of people who work in the LinkedIn space and they work with job seekers. I don't work with job seekers at all. I work with corporate professionals on the job who need to use social media for work at work, who need to describe what it is they do at work. Those are the people I work with. So when I come across job seekers, I send them to other people who are personal branding experts in helping people get jobs, because that's not my lane, and I'm okay with that. But the more I get specific is the more I can see who is my competition, and there is less and less competition for me, which feels awesome. So those are things I want you guys to think about. So understanding what gives you life. There's something there that you need to follow it and do more of it so you can really determine if that's your thing. But before you own it, make sure there's a market for it. Are there jobs? Are there opportunities? Is the industry going that way? And then as well, if there's not, then it's just a passion, and that's okay too. But you have to be strategic when it comes to your personal brand for business. As well, when you're in that non-committal space, are you saying, leveraging this incredible phrase, and I also? Because this will allow you to push the niche to the front and then still mention all the other things as you continue to explore. So it's a nice transition phase before you really get niched down. See, I'm interchanging between niche and niche because I'm okay with it. All right, the next thing is you want to guest on niche shows. And this gets your toe in the water in the industry without having to own it on your own content. And then when it comes to your own content, you can ease into it. Start by adding a little bit more. So you start to just blend in this niche as you see fit. And of course, you can remix the content from the online shows or online platforms that you guested on. And of course, if you're still struggling, that goes back to more experience required. So let me know, guys, what you thinking. Is that like, yes, was this show worth the do-over or what? Okay, let me know with your thumbs up, your hearts, your love, send me a hug, something. Whoa. I'm getting all excited that I'm even like knocking down my mic, and I know that sounds extra loud, but that's what I want to know. Did this help you? Because I've been promising this episode for a while, and I had to come through on take 2. So let me know in the comments below, and I'm going to check in once again just to see what this is saying, what you guys are saying. Okay, Stallone says, I can't believe there isn't 100K people in here getting free smoke from Cher. Fan my flames right now. Oh, Stallone, you are awesome. Susanna says, slay in your lane, like and share. Share is fire. Thank you, Jane. I appreciate you guys. Frank says, niche what you do best. Makes sense, right, Stallone? Absolutely. And Randy says, on target. And Susanna says, validation. See? The fact that I can serve you guys today and really help you navigate this niching space, because there's so much pressure in that, that's exactly what I wanted to do today. So I'm glad you guys are finding valuable information from that. And Christina says, very important to explore the possibilities. Ain't that the truth? And Cornelius says, I hear you. So I am glad. And Jane says, amazing content. Again, I appreciate you and everybody watching right now on Facebook. I promise to jump into the comments after because they're not being pulled from here, unfortunately, so I can't see them on my restream chat. But if you are participating, I will definitely check in with you after. All right. So coming up next is my scroll stopper. And if you don't know what a scroll stopper is, it's anything that stops my thumb, right? And what I do with these scroll stoppers is I break down exactly why it stopped my thumb and how you can use this same content strategy in your own niche or for your own brand, okay? But first, what I want to do is ask you a quick question, because I'm going to start to activate this list. I promise, guys. This is something I've been talking about for a while, but are you on my list? If not, after the show, all you need to go is to justaskshare.com to get on my A-list. And this will make sure that you don't miss a beat. You get all the tricks and the tips and extra resources that only my list will get. And like I said, I'm going to start to activate that. So get ready for that. If you're not on the list, make sure you get on the list. All right, coming up next, like I said, my scroll stopper. So let's jump in to this scroll stopper, and today it is brought to you by, and this is Tuesdays as well, Bob Lowe. He is a B2B marketing consultant. I help companies with LinkedIn lead generation, content, and advertising. He's a speaker and a trainer all the way from Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. Okay, and here's why Bob stopped my scroll. So this is what he does. He curates the best posts on LinkedIn in the past 7 days. And he says there are thousands of posts on LinkedIn, and it's quite impossible to find the good posts among the sea of content. Here's the best content when it comes to marketing and personal development that he has curated. He's also, so I think this is really cool. And this, while it is network specific, let's look at me for a second. this is network specific to LinkedIn, but you could do the same thing if you're on Instagram and you are screenshotting the best posts and why they're so good. And then you can lean them out, and then you can also tag those people in those pictures. And on Instagram, you can upload it as a gallery post. So this same strategy works whether it's on LinkedIn, whether it's on Facebook. It is all about curating the best posts of the week for a specific topic. So he goes network specific because people want to stay on the same network that they are. So you don't want to take people all over the place. And also, like I said, I didn't say this, but theme specific. So it was about personal development and marketing. So this is really cool. So let's dive back into the post once again so you guys can take a closer look. All right. So he talks at all these underneath that paragraph there. Those are all the different posts that he found, including their names. And this is a weekly feature. So he does this every single week. And I think it is awesome, Bob, doing a great job with that because it makes your job easier. And so what he does as well is he puts the titles and he mentions their names so that these people who are creating content, what he is now doing is also building a relationship with these people so that they see that, hey, you're shouting me out. I appreciate that. And then that starts to become a more reciprocal relationship, which is incredible, as well as you start to show up more on each other's news feeds. And all of that is awesome when you're doubling down on relationships as part of your strategy, which I think all people should. Anyways, let's dive back into the post for a second. All right. So titles of the articles, and of course he mentions them. And at the very bottom, he says, please share your favorite post in the last 7 days in the comments below. So now he's asking his community to come in and share the love. And again, this is more reciprocation because what happens is he gets to see other posts that might not have come into his newsfeed. And also he has the opportunity to connect with people that others are recommending. So this is a really cool interactive post, and it is something that I would definitely recommend you guys try. And this works. It's a very easy strategy that really does work well. Okay, so the next thing, again, that links, he also puts the links in the comments. So let's take a look at that real quick. And so he basically says all the links to all the articles are in the comments, because we know on LinkedIn, when you put a link in a post, it instantly is devalued on the algorithm, so we can't do that. So that's what he does to make sure that it's very easy for his audience to find the articles, and at the same time he's still working with the algorithm of LinkedIn where he can't include all those links in the post or else no one will ever see it. So I think this is a fire strategy, and I really think that more and more people should engage in this because it makes good content go around, and that's a good thing, right? Okay, so let's see what you guys are saying. Let's see. David Howard says, great and engaging. You are a true subject matter expert with applicable takeaways. I love that, David. Thank you so much. Elite content share. Thank you very much, Peter. I stay elite. You know what I'm saying? And Vindaya says, you're awesome. Thanks. And Jamon says, thebomb.com. Yo, you guys are gassing up my head. Boom. I'll take it though. Okay. So, and Shelly says she's giving me the love, which I absolutely appreciate. Thanks so much, Shelly. All right. And all right, where am I going next? Tap that app. 2 Ps. And if you guys have been watching and you don't want to miss content like this, may I suggest something to you? You want to search after the show, of course, Just Ask Cher, hashtag Just Ask Cher, and start following that hashtag so the chances of the algorithm delivering this awesome content to you will increase significantly because you're actually following my hashtag. So that's awesome. So let's get into Tap That App. And if, like I promised, for those of you who've been watching from the beginning of the show, is if you are into podcasting or thinking about a podcast, this may be the podcast tool for you, recording tool, especially if you are planning to have guests. So let me show you what it is. It is called Squadcast. And what it does, it allows you to have really high quality audio where your guests can call into a number and are actually remote, basically it's like Zoom but way better sound quality, and so you can record that with your guests online. So I think it's phenomenal, and here's where it gets really awesome. So that's where you're gonna go, squadcast.fm, if you want to check it out. But why is that so good? Because why can't you just use a Zoom link? Well, one of the major reasons why you want to use this is because it gives you 2 audio files. So it will give you the audio file for yourself as well as your guest. So let's say, for example, you're saying something epic and your guest is coughing the entire time. You can, or vice versa, you have a cold, which would be awful right now because no one wants to even cough right now. But let's just say, your dog is barking, with all the packages that are coming right now, the doorbell is ringing, the dog is barking, your kid is crying. During this podcast, what's awesome about it is because it gives you 2 separate audio tracks, you can edit that out without losing the other person's voice. So, and of course, it is significantly increased quality as far as the audio is concerned. So if you're really thinking about, you know what, I am all in with this podcast, you want to level up right from the beginning. Okay, so hope that was helpful for you. In the 36 seconds that I have left, of course, I want to remind you guys, and you know I'm going to steal a little extra time, I'm just saying, but did you guys know that sharing is caring? And since you made it this far in the episode, do not forget, by the time we're done, do not forget to share with your network, because I really believe, especially this episode, I really believe it was a powerful one around owning your niche, don't care. But definitely share it with your network. I would absolutely appreciate that. And I wanted to just give you a brief highlight of what's coming up next for me, because I am going to be all over the place. I have been over the last 2 weeks. I've been following my own advice, and I've been guesting on a lot of other people's platforms, their live shows, and I'm doing it again. I was on one last night at 10:30 at night. Yeah, crazy, but I was. And I wanted to show you guys what I'm doing, what I'm up to the next couple of days. All right, so on Friday, this is the first one on the block, I'm going to be hanging out with Monique Bryan, and she is a personal brand and style coach over on Instagram. And we are going to be talking about business, and also especially around just a candid conversation around business, social media, branding, all that good stuff. And this is what I'm talking about. When you own your niche, you have very little competition, because you just know what you do and you know what they don't. And it's all good, and then you can collaborate together. All right, so next up, I'll be hanging out with Tennille, and she is epic.official, so go follow her. We're going to be talking about your personal brand as a competitive asset to a company. Let me tell you, you guys are going to want to hang out with us on Saturday, June the 13th at 2 p.m. So that is also something that you want to do. And finally, Powering the Unique You, how to gain visibility and engagement on LinkedIn. This is also Saturday, but this is at 3:30, so with Jana. So guys, I'm all over the place. I want to make sure that you come join me. If those topics are of interest to you, I'd love to have you join me on those broadcasts. And that's what's going on. So I paused the timer. I'm not doing too bad. I'm not too way off time, but I do want to honor yours. So I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Again, this is the do-over episode of Owning Your Niche. I hope you found it valuable, and I will see you on the next episode of Just Us Share Live. Thank you. And of course, if you're wondering what time that is, because today's a weird, odd time, it is Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I go live every Tuesday, and I hope to see you join me. And don't forget to get on my mailing list, all right? Talk to you soon. Bye.